What's up everybody, Meowth here. United in Stormwind is coming, and that means more regularly scheduled YouTube content. It's back. Took a month off because getting back into the swing of things with full-time work now that, the country is back open again. And so, sorry for the lack of YouTube content, but we're back at it with United in Stormwind, and today I have for you guys a very, very quick United in Stormwind card review. So we're going to be looking at all of the cards in the set. We're going to be looking at what's playable, what's not, where it's going to see play, and we're going to do it in as quick a time as possible. If you guys are interested in a more long-form review where we talk about every card, where it's going to be good, synergies, and all that kind of good stuff, I highly recommend you check out the State of the Wild podcast episodes with Corbett and Raffle, where we talk for about an hour and a half to 2 hours every week about the cards for the past couple of weeks. Make sure you guys check that out if you're interested. But today, we're not doing 2 hours. We're going to do about 10 minutes, talk about everything as quickly as possible. If you think I missed anything or glossed over a card that you think is going to be really, really powerful, let me know down in the comments below. And of course, as we move into the new expansion, if you want me to check out any of your theory crafts, you want to check out any of my theory crafts or anything like that, make sure you join my Discord or subscribe here to the YouTube channel. The link to the Discord is down in the description below. And I'll be posting a lot of my theory crafts here on my YouTube channel as well before the expansion goes live. And once the expansion goes live, all the decks that I play and have success with, you can find here on the YouTube channel. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you guys want to check all of that out. Okay, without further ado, enough selling out. Let's go ahead and talk about some of these cards. All right, let's go ahead and start with Demon Hunter. The only ones that I really think that you need to pay attention to Demon Hunter. So we've got Metamorphin. I think this card, low-key, might be playable in that one-drop odd Demon Hunter. I think you need more Fel spells, so keep an eye on it for the future, if not now. Chaos Leech, Reno Demon Hunter. Fel Gorger, Reno Demon Hunter support card. Persistent Peddler, Death Rattle Demon Hunter support card. Jace, if you open this guy, don't disenchant it because he's going to be really, really powerful, I believe, in a couple expansions. Moving into Druid, I think Sow the Soil. Look at this in Aggro Druid, look at this in Token Druid as a potential 29th, 30th card. Again, composting in that slower Token Druids with Whispering Woods and Glowfly Swarms. Maybe can fit in one composting. I think it's a little bit too slow, but I'm excited to try it out because card draw is good. Wicker Claw, if you are an Even Druid fanatic, you love Wicker Claw in your Even Druids, but this sees plays nowhere else. Oracle of Elune, I'm really excited for this card in like a mid-rangey Druid. This is a really, really powerful effect. I don't know if we can take advantage of it just yet in the wild format, but it's a really, really powerful effect, so keep an eye on this card moving forward. All right, moving into Hunter, we have to start with Defend the Dwarven District, Raza Hunter. It's going to be a viable archetype in the format. I don't know how good it's going to be, but it's going to be really, really fun, and I hope it's powerful enough to have a staying power in the metagame. But Raza Hunter or Defend the Dwarven District, good card. Another card that's a little bit controversial, but I really like Devouring Swarm in your Token Druid style of builds. Trade off all your little 1/1s, get more 1/1s, draw some more with buzzards, get another buzzard. I think you could also maybe look at this in like a Reno Hunter list, potentially bounce stuff like your Griffins, your Zephs, and stuff like that, just for an additional value while removal. Just maybe look at it in Reno Hunter, but it definitely fits in that Token Beasts. And then Aim Shot, I think this is a really, really good card in Quest Hunters in general, and I also think that this is a really, really solid card in Odd Hunter, and it's a pretty powerful effect. It's basically 3 mana deal 5, and so keep an eye on this. Maybe like a Face Hunter build, but that's pretty far away. So right now, just Quest Hunter and Odd Hunter. And then Rat King, this is a card that maybe you look at as the top end in your Beast Hunter builds with, Master's Call, and stuff like that. It's really, really, really easy to activate, so maybe look at this as your top end alongside those Tundra Rhinos if you're playing that Token Beast Hunter build. All right, as we move into Mage, Hot Streak, if you're playing those APM style Mage builds, synergizes really, really nicely with Sorcerer's Apprentice and stuff like Molten Reflections if you want to play that Exodia Mage style of build. First Flame, this card is just nuts in all kind of Mage decks except for, I guess, Secret Mage. Ray of Frost is one of the best cards ever printed for Mage, right? First Flame is, I think, up there in power level with Ray of Frost. So First Flame, stuff like LPG Mage, APM Mages, probably even Mizaki Mages, you want First Flame in your deck. Celestial Ink Set, I think this is a nice buff to Big Spell Mage. Big Spell Mage is a very, very fringe deck, but if you enjoy playing off meta decks and you enjoy playing Big Spell Mage, Celestial Ink Set fits in that archetype. Ignite, so this is another card that people are talking about a potential OTK with double Sorcerer's Apprentice and a Luna alongside it Ignite. I think this is maybe fine if you want to play that APM Mage style builds again, but I'm thinking right now, obviously without playing, I think Mizaki Mage is just going to be better, so this Ignite Mage is going to be very fringe, very, play it for the sake of having fun, not because it's the most competitive, but that's really all I can see Ignite seeing play. Fire Cell, play this in LPG Mages, it's a good card. Plus it has tradable, so in the situations that it's not, you can draw a card. And last but not least, we got Clumsy Courier. Play this card in your LPG mages, potentially play this card in your big spell mages. Alright, as we move into Paladin getting a lot of good cards. Prismatic Jewel Kit is absolutely busted. Whether it's hand buff Paladin, bubble Paladin, however the deck kind of morphs, right, with a bunch of new cards that it's getting this expansion, Prismatic Jewel Kit probably going to be core to that because Divine Shield, hand buff, 3 durability, it's going to be pretty nuts. Rise to the Occasion. So this is a really weird card. Dude Paladin support. Probably not running this in Odd Paladin, but Dude Paladin support. I just don't know if Dude Paladin is just going to look like worse Odd Paladin for the majority of it, like the builds that I have seen, the builds that I've done. So I don't know about Rise to Occasion, but it's pure Dude Paladin, not Odd Paladin. I like City Tax in those Uther OTK builds. 2 mana, basically one-sided Spirit Lash. Combos really well with Equality, Libram of Justice, stuff like that. So if you're playing slower control Paladin style decks, you like City Attacks. Alliance Bannerman, 3 mana, 2/2, draw a card, buff your hand. Just nuts. This card is absolutely busted. Both hand buff Paladin, even probably Libram Paladins and stuff like that. Alliance Bannerman, you love to see it. Catacomb Guard is another card for those hand buff Paladin builds. It's basically 3 mana, remove a dude, and then heal a bunch of mana as well. Because if you're playing against an aggro deck, you play this, let's say, as a 3 mana 2/5. Like worst case scenario, you're playing this like a 3 mana 2/5. So you deal damage, you kill a minion, heal 2, and then your opponent probably has to trade 2 minions into it because it's going to have a pretty big butt, which means you're healing for 6, right? That's insane against aggro. This card's nuts. Very, 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 very good card. Can also help you get through taunts against lower decks. Catacomb Guard gets Pseudo-Graphic Astrology as well. Card is good. And last but not least in Paladin, I know we've been talking about a lot of Paladin cards. We have High Lord for Dragon, 6 mana, 5/5 Divine Shield. After a minion loses Divine Shield, give a minion +5/+5. This is pretty slow at 6 mana, but the effect is pretty damn powerful. Maybe experiment with this as like the top end of your bubble hand buff Paladin list. I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being too slow, but it's a lot of stats. Like, it's a lot of stats. Definitely maybe worth checking out. Alright, as we move into Priest, Shard of the Naru. Master Spell was 4 mana, they printed this as 1 mana, and it has tradable. Absolutely bonkers. You run this in Big Priest list, you run this in Inner Fire Priest list. Honestly, you maybe even run it in Reno Priest list, if the meta depends on it. Void Touch Attendant. I really, really like this card in Shadow Priest. I do not like this card in Reno Priest. But if you're playing that aggressive Shadow Priest list, this card is just a really, really solid 1-drop. Shadowcloth Needle, I think, I don't think you have enough spells in Reno Priest to make Shadowcloth Needle work. It depends on how many cards you're running, like what your build of Shadow Priest is, that you maybe run this as a way to control the board. But something that's not really being talked about, I really, really like this card at Big Priest, because Big Priest has like 14 to 16 Shadow spells, which means you can use this as, you know, just anti-aggro, which is all Big Priest really, really wants, because once you get that Shadow Essence down, you're winning the game, right? So lots of potential for Shadowcloth Needle. Twilight Deceptor, another Shadow Priest card. Basically play 1-drop in Shadow Priest, you hit face, and you play this, and you draw, you know, a very specific Shadow spell from your deck, like Raise Dead or Twilight Skull. So, like Twilight Deceptor a lot. Siphoned, yeah, I think this card's a little bit too slow, even for Shadow Priest list. Depends on how many Shadow spells you're running in your deck. I think you need like 12 to 14 to be happy with this card. And so there's also potential OTK with stuff like Test Subject, and I believe Forbidden Words is your Shadow spell of choice, alongside Radiant Elementals and Reborn. So there's potentially an OTK there if your APM allows for it, but outside of that specific OTK, I don't see this card seeing a lot of play. And then, of course, Dark Bishop Benedictus, good card. It's going to push whole archetypes in our format. As we move into Rogue, a lot of the Rogue cards, absolutely garbage, okay? The only ones really to look at are Maestro of the Masquerade here, 2 mana, 3/2, legendary, Mind Games, right? There's some Mind Games that you can do. I don't know how much the Mind Games are worth a 2 mana, 3/2, do nothing in your deck. Zeph is bad in a lot of decks that run dupes, okay? Maestro of the Masquerade is going to be even worse than that. And then the other one I want to talk about is Sketching Information. 3 mana, draw a Death Rattle card that costs 4 less, trigger its Death Rattle. It's going to be good in Big Rogue. I think the question becomes, do you like this in just a variety of Death Rattle builds? I've been messing around with it a little bit. Really kind of hard to figure out a shell that works super effectively that I like, but this card itself is super, 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 super powerful. It's going to be busted sometime in the future. Speaking of busted, as we move into Shaman, Auction House Gavel, pretty powerful card. Maybe replaces Whack-A-Null in a lot of decks. Bolner, 2 mana Brand for Shaman, pretty powerful. Canal Slogger, 4 mana Lifesteal with Rush on an Elemental, 6/4, pretty damn powerful. And Granite Forgeborn, 6 mana 4/5, Battlecry, reduce the cost of elementals in your hand and deck by 1, pretty damn powerful. Yeah, you're going to be seeing a lot of these Shaman cards. Hopefully they don't get nerfed because of standard. And the other one I want to talk about, Overdraft. This is a card that's pretty powerful itself, but it's not a nature spell. It doesn't really have a home right now. Maybe there's like a Spirit of the Frog style deck where you can just keep chaining spells and then Overdraft to overload all your, unlock all your overloaded crystals and then keep going. Maybe there's an Overdraft deck like that, but right now it's really, really hard to see what that might be. All right, we move into Warlock. Demon Seed. Potentially the only place that I see this thing play, not in Dark Lair, but like a turbo mill fatigue style deck, where you just try to like empty your deck by turn 6, turn 7, and then just start turbo drawing your cards on your turn to do the opponent an insane amount of damage because fatigue ticks up super, super quickly. But yeah, only potential place that I see this thing play, and I'm scared if it ends up being good. Touch of the Nathrazim, just a really solid removal tool in a lot of decks. This card might be the reason that you see a shift specifically to 3 health minions to stop Touch of the Nathrazim from being super good, because this card's just nuts. It's so good. Dark Alley Pact, even lock card. Reno even lock card. Demonic Assault, Reno even lock card. Shady Bartender, I think this card is pretty good. I don't know if the other demons are good enough, but stuff like Discard Warlock, I think you maybe build in a specific way to take advantage of Shady Bartender, because it's basically a quartermaster that you can actually just trade away if you don't have, you know, enough imps on board to take advantage of at the moment. Anatheron, even lock card. Reno even lock card. Entitled Customer, I think this card might be one of the best cards in the set. 6 mana, 3/2, AoE, potential answer to Dark Lair for even locks and Reno even locks. I think it's just a solid AoE tool in Reno locks itself, if it's dealing like 5 or 6 damage. And so I really, really like Entitled Customer. I definitely think it's one of the best cards in the set. Removal on Sticks, always going to be premium cards. Entitled Customer, you know, no exception to the rule there. As we move into Warrior getting a ton of tools for Pirate Warrior. So the main tool for like regular Pirate Warrior, you've got Harbor Scamp, 2 mana, 2/2 Pirate, draw a card. Just nuts, right? It's a good card. I'm going to be experimenting a lot with something called Reno Pirate Warrior that takes advantage of stuff like Raid the Docks, because the ultimate quest line here with the Juggernaut is an insane inevitability. You can even maybe run like an odd Pirate Warrior. But yeah, you don't want Raid the Docks, you don't want the quest in your normal Pirate Warrior, but I think if you're playing like Reno Pirate Warrior or Odd Warrior with a Pirate package, Raid the Docks is like the Juggernaut's just nuts. It's so good. And if you're running those slower pirate decks, you take advantage of stuff like Shiver Their Timbers, Cargo Guard, and Stormwind Freebooter. And then we're looking at Big Warrior. So Big Warrior also getting some tools here with Cowardly Grunt and Provoke. Don't run Lothar in your Big Warrior list unless you absolutely want to, because Lothar is not very good. Some meme decks built around it, of course, that has to. Peasant, this is a card that I think is going to be getting 2 specific decks, and I'm pretty high on it. In those specific decks, I'm thinking Odd Demon Hunter and I'm thinking Odd Rogue. God, it's going to be really annoying if it's good, because like the disparity of having it on turn 1, like in the aggro mirror, is going to be nuts. But it's really, 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 really good, right? Draw in aggro decks is always good. Stockades Guard, this card doesn't look flashy. It's a 1 mana 1/3, give a friendly minion taunt. The only place that I really think you're seeing play with is in Dark Lair Warlock, because right now Dark Lair Warlocks that are running the Zeph are normally running 1 copy of Sun Fury Protector. And I think you would just replace Sun Fury Protector with Stockades Guards in this list. So that's like the one fringe place that they might see play. So I just wanted to talk about it there. Encumbered Pack Mule. This is a card that I'm like really high on. I just don't know where it's going to see play, because it's really, really cute. It's really, really like nice synergies, right? So if you want to play this in like an Oracle of the Loon deck, you want to play this in like Taunt Warrior. I think it's a great card in Taunt Warrior. You might also even see play in something like Evenlock or Reno Evenlock. As just a way to tap into it, into a cheap taunt early in the game that also doesn't really deplete your hand size, because it adds a copy of it itself to your hand. So Encumbered Pack Mule, pretty big fan of this card. And I think it's going to see play, if not now, I think moving forward. Alright, we've got Entrap Sorceress, 3 mana 3/4, Battlecry. If you control a quest, discover a spell. Only want to talk about this card because it's a nice little addition to Reno Quest Mage, a deck that's been on the fringe for a while, but Entrap Sorceress is a pretty good card in that list. Alright, Rustrot Viper. I mean, this is like the new staple for weapon tech in the format. Better than Sticky Fingers, better than Oozes, stuff like that, just because it's a tech card that has tradable, so if you don't need it, you can trade it away and draw a card that actually does something in that matchup. So, fan of Rustrot Viper. In a similar vein, we have Royal Librarian, which is like basically the same thing, but it's silence tech that is tradable. So straight up upgrade on Spellbreaker. So if that hand buff Paladin is running rampant, maybe you want like neutral silence and something like Evenlock or Reno Evenlock, and Royal Librarian fits that, that niche because it has tradable. Tradable is so good. All right, Spice Bread Breaker, 4 mana, 3/2. This is basically Healbot for Evenlocks. I know I'm talking a lot about Evenlock and Reno Evenlock, but they're getting a lot of tools. Spice Bread Breaker, one of them. Stubborn Suspect, 4 mana, 3/3. Death Rattle, summon a random 3-cost minion. This is just basically Power Crep Piloted Shredder, right? We never really wanted to run Piloted Shredder, but if you ever did, maybe like in that Death Rattle Demon Hunter list, Stubborn Suspect, I think just straight up better now because 3 drops better than 2 drops, as it turns out. And then Battleground Battlemaster, this is like the one that's getting a lot of people talking in both Standard and Wild. 5 mana, 5/5 adjacent minions that win for you basically right out of Battlegrounds, right? Real talk, I know a lot of people are really excited for this card in Standard. I don't know if this card's good enough in our format. It's 5 mana, it's really slow, and it's very much a win more card in our format. The only place that I think this sees play is actually in hand buff Paladin. I don't even think you run this in Dark Glare, right? I think it's just way too clunky, way too win more in Dark Glare. So I really think that you're really looking at this in hand buff Paladin. And even then, I'm not even sold if you want this in the like pure hand buff Paladin list. So yeah, actually not too high on this card personally. Speaking of cards that I am extremely high on, Cornelius Rome, 6 mana, 4/5 at the start and end of each player's turn, draw a card. I just think that this card is mid-range savior in the WoW format. Lots of decks, right? Whether you're playing Libram Paladin, Even Hunter, Even Shaman, Galakron Warrior, all those like mid-rangey style decks, I think you just want Cornelius Rome. He's a decently statted body that comes down at the top of your curve, and it's gonna draw you 2 cards guaranteed. And then if it survives and continues to draw you 6 cards, then you should be winning the game because it's just the refill, it's the gas that mid-range decks really have struggled with, right? You just run out of gas and those decks just can't close out games, and Cornelius Rome, gives you the ability to draw those cards to help end the game. So I'm a big fan of Cornelius Rome. I'm shoving him in every deck until he ends up not being good. But I think he's going to be really, really, really good. And it's definitely going to be one of the first cards I craft. Lady Prestor, 6 mana, 6/7 meme legendary. Transform minions in your deck into random dragons that keep the original stats and cost. So basically how I'm thinking about this card is you run Talon and you run Lady Prestor so that you can try to get her as consistently as possible on curve. And then you're running stuff like, let's say you're playing Silence Priest and you're running 2 mana 4/5s and 3 mana 4/8s. And so then you're drawing into 3 mana dragons that have really, really powerful effects. You can also be doing something like a bunch of 1-drops and 2-drops with Talon, Prestor, top end so that you're drawing into 1 mana dragons, right? These are 1 mana dragons that have 9 mana, 10 mana effects. So I think Prestor might have a nice little niche meme deck, but I do not think she's uber competitive. I also think that she is, available to everybody from the Battle Pass. So you will be able to play with Prestor and you'll be able to play those meme decks. Moarg, Forge Fiend, 8 mana, 8/8 taunt demon, death rattle, gain 8 armor. I think this card is just nuts, right? This is like enhanced Dreadlord, terms of value. Pretty damn good card. I like this card in both Reno Locks, Even Reno Locks, Cube Locks. But I also think that if you're just playing like a new Zoth list, like you're playing Reno Warrior with new Zoth or Reno Paladin, that demon slot has been really crappy, right? It's really bad. You're normally just not running a demon. Forge Fiend's pretty damn good. It's taunt, heal 8, and it's an 8/8 demon. So I like Forge Fiend. I think it's going to see a lot more play than people are expecting or talking about moving, into the new expansion. Varian. So Varian, 8 mana, 7/7, Battlecry, draw rush to gain rush, draw taunt, gain divine shield to gain divine shield. I don't think this card is actually going to see a lot of play. I was looking through it and it's like it's either a Paladin card or a Warrior card. And so it's like Reno Paladin, Reno Warrior. And then like I just don't know if it even sees play in those decks because it's 8 mana for like a rush taunt divine shield. And like I don't know if that's good enough. It does draw you the 3 cards, right? But if you like happen to have drawn your Ziliax, then you don't have a divine shield in Reno Warrior. So I was hype about this card, and then I actually started looking at the collection, and then I realized that there's not a lot of tools to support him just yet. So just like stuff like Lady Ashmore and maybe Watley and Curator, just probably not good enough, even though the effect is super powerful. And last but not least, we have Goldshire Knoll. 10 mana 5/4 rush, cost 1 less for each other card in your hand. This is an even lock card. I know it's been said a lot about even lock and Reno even lock. This is an even lock card. It's going to be like a 2 mana 5/4, 3 mana 5/4 with rush that clears minions, and then you drop a giant on turn 4. So yeah, Goldshire Knoll, gonna see a lot of play. Even lock looking hella good. And that's going to wrap it up for a United and Stormwind card review. I hope you guys enjoyed the really quick run through. Of course, if you're interested in a more detailed, in-depth explanation about a lot of these cards and their synergies, make sure you guys check out the State of the Wild podcast with Corbett and Raffle. There'll be a new episode coming out tomorrow that's going to have the last half of all the cards. So make sure you guys check that out if that's something that interests you. And of course, if you guys are interested in any theory crafts, you can either join my Discord, where I've been pretty active in there talking about cards and decks, or you make sure that you drop a subscription here to the YouTube channel, because I'll be posting a theory crafting video with all of my decks that I'm interested in trying out right before the expansion drops. So make sure you guys hit that subscription button and hit the little bell so that you guys know when that video goes live. And of course, as we move into the actual expansion itself, you can either catch me playing all these decks and trying to refine them and going through the process over on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/getmeout. You can check that out live. Or again, drop a subscription here, hit that bell. I'll post highlight videos of the decks that do work here on my YouTube channel. So make sure you guys hit that button so that you guys know when those videos go live. So I hope you guys are as hyped for the expansion as I am. There's like 50 playable cards for the WoW format, which is a lot. Super exciting, lots of powerful stuff. So it's a good time. And I'm looking forward to the expansion. Hope you guys are too. And I will see you guys next time. Later.